I absolutely love how these videos interlink. For those of you that don't know, I am your host, Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. I'm a psychic medium, a intuitive astrologer, as well as a twin flame coach to guide you through your path. Now, if you do need a booking, you can visit our website, as well as we also do have the landing page for Sage in a Circle Network, where all this content is pre-released and more. Now, we're going to get straight into the updates, and if you want any of those links, they're all directly hosted below the video. Now, this reading, really, because I have actually moved through the masculine and the feminine and now into the karmic, they're all interlinking and they're really making conversation piece. And I think it's just saving grace, especially if you have no communication or you're a bit confused about what's happening. When you do see these interlinking energies, you see how each individual is moving through this cycle. You kind of get a big story and you can see each person's side. If you did want to dive in and get a joint connection read, I do feel from April and beyond is going to be a fantastic time to do such, but also really integrating and anchoring in with your new chapters in your life. Now, the first thing I was noticing from this reading is that many times we do have karmics that are very prone to pattern orientation. So the stripes don't change, okay? And this person is utilizing the tactile art, but if something was only based on that, it can't really hold a divine connection back. It also won't hold permanent substance. A bit like good composting soil, if it's just sand, the seed is not going to grow. So we have this individual having revelations, attempting to go back into a pattern, but the other surrounding cards are really not something that's working too well. This person maybe has not had a revelation and had an opportunity during our retrogrades at the beginning of the year and during these cycles, and can be feeling like they're wanting to move back into the past, wanting to move back into old patterns. But there is a cycle at the moment that is coming up to play, that is coming up for an end. So they're looking back to the old ways of being to directly deal with this. Now, many times this has absolutely no association to what is good for them. It's what feels comfortable. And I think for all of us, we can directly relate that we do want to feel comfortable. We are moving into uncomfortable, changeable times. That can feel both exciting. For some, it can feel very unhinging. Now, this person may be forced to address certain limitations in their life and feel very uncertain and want to go back to the heydays, want to go back to the easier times. Something is going to be unearthed. Something is hidden temporarily, but something is going to become unearthed. And the notion that I'm getting, it's weird. It's almost like I'm being told they may feel at the moment they have some grace, but they do feel that they could have heard some gossip through the grapevine that is something is coming, and this is causing some anxiety, especially because there's been a huge delay in this physically showing up in the person's life. It's created anxiety, and they're like, how do I go back and cover my tracks? How do I go back and hide this? And there is a D-Day notion to this. They're not directly seeing it right away, but they're feeling it through the ethers. They're also feeling this inability to do certain things based on some other pieces, that it's almost like having balls up in the air and a tower ready to come down. And they do feel very full of anxiety at this point in time. So this hidden truth, this thing where it's going to be uncovered, they do feel as though they are working on borrowed time. There could have been some behavioral patterns that cropped up inside of the karmic relationship that are now resurfacing. This is in their minds, preventing them from ascending to the next level. They don't quite know what to do. They don't quite know how to resolve it. Now, some of it can be self-esteem, intuition, based on where the current connections are. For some, this is to do with an old karmic path and maybe some secrets coming out into light. And so they feel very trapped here in this, like the past is coming back to bite them in the butt. And so they're not feeling extremely positive towards this. It's almost like this urgency of, I've got to go through my skill set. I need to go back in my tactical account to look at what worked before. Can I butter this situation over? Can I maneuver myself through this? What were, and again, I don't know why I'm seeing this card as a third party energy. There could have been some things that were done in the dark, and they do feel between now and mid-year it's coming out. And so they're really looking at it and feeling some concern in what they invested in. For some of them, I also feel a change in their career, a change in their finances, not wanting to go back to a different way of being, feeling as though the stability of connections that they had are gone, and feeling as though there is this dissolving of belief systems inside themselves about what actually is going to work. And they don't really have faith in things nor themselves at this point in time. Now, we're going to go into clarifying because I feel there's more below the surface. And I do think this is weighing quite heavily on their heart. And I can't wait to see how next week's energy is actually going to play out. I'm hearing the term waiting game. I'm also seeing paperwork, trying to be patient, but there's been a delay. They're like, okay, I've heard things through the grapevine. I'm trusting my intuition, but this dare stuck in the woods is scared to react, scared to do anything, and they don't know whether they're being paranoid or they're seeing the whole truth of this. Yeah, there's been some misdeeds done. Okay, these misdeeds could directly affect them, and they're trying to think their self through this. Now, that not necessarily is a bad thing, although it feels messy. This is causing headaches. This is causing fatigue. This is causing fogginess. And in some ways, it's almost like they're trying to say to themselves, look, it's going to be fine. You know, I did nothing wrong. I just need to have faith and just keep moving forward. I just need to keep moving forward. And again, I feel something that had paused is coming back into play. I do think it's taking this person by surprise. It's an old conversation, an old negotiation, maybe even some gossip. I'm wanting to dig deeper about how this is, but this is actually causing a foundation that is becoming very unhinged and ungrounded. This is going to have large consequences, more than they think. And I think that's why they realise that once one piece of the strand comes out, the rest of it is. It's so funny. There's a lot of purple energy here. And I wouldn't usually say this, but the 12th house can be associated to prison. That's one example. It's almost like whatever this is, be it it's a psychological prison or it's a physical one, it's like there's something here that was done in the dark that could have higher consequences than we know. Okay? There's something they know that they're not sharing. There's something they're feeling. By one strand being unraveled, the rest of it comes undone and the rest comes out. There's some big secrets about to be exposed here, and they're so not good. Now, we will cover these energies weekly. I can't wait to get into next week's energy. So if you do find this interesting and it's your vibe, come through and subscribe. And separately, if you do want to visit our website for a private booking within the joint connection or to dig deeper, come through and join. Also, we do host a Sage Inner Circle landing page for the sign up and all details online. Feel free to share with other individuals that are going through the path about what these things could be, especially if you know what the subjects are around these key individuals. Now, a karmic can be a person, place, thing. It could be a cycle that's been directly wrapped up, but there's some exposure here. And I do get a feeling it's going to be more exposing than we actually anticipated. I'd love to hear how this is playing out. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.